Let's do it. Let's welcome hockey guru Sam Carchidi back to talk some Flyers hockey. Sam, welcome.
Hi, Bill. Hi, Chet. Good to see you guys tonight.
All right, Sam, let's talk Flyers. I mean, other than that 5-game skid right before the All-Star break, they've been extremely impressive this season. What do you think have been the keys to their big improvement from a year ago?
I think a lot of it is mindset, Chet, to be honest with you. I mean, this team, they've made some changes, and I think the young guys have added some good new young blood to the team, and as a result, you have players playing for their jobs, playing for lineup spots. They know, if I don't do the job tonight, a guy like Bobby Brink, who is now with the Phantoms, he could be coming in, or another young guy could be coming in, and it's been a good rotation. I give a lot of credit to John Tortorella. This team on paper is not a playoff team. They've overachieved, but more power to them. I mean, it's not very often they get outworked in games, and they're fun to watch because of that. And, case in point, the last game against the Coyotes, they didn't have their A game for all 60 minutes, but they play hard, especially in the second half of that game, and they turned it their way. And they're getting good defense. You look at it, and they're third place. They're in a playoff spot right now, and their power play is awful. I mean, if their power play had been clicking, this team might be in first place, believe it or not. Yeah. I mean, they're 31st in the league. They're clicking at about 13%, and their PK, on the other hand, has been tremendous. You look at the PK; they're second in the league, and credit to the guys on there. Scott Lawton has done a great job, it's just fascinating to me that the trade deadline is less than a month away, and you wonder how Danny Briere is going to go. All indications are he's going to make trades to acquire draft picks, but he's probably going to. There's reason for him to at least pause now, anyway,
sure.
And maybe try to pick up somebody that's going to help them not only this year but in the long run. And because this is a surprise. I don't think anybody expected them to be in the playoff hunt right now.
Well, Sam, you all answered my first question, I think, already. But I was going to say to you, have you ever seen a team that is so bad in special teams on one end and so good on the other? And in fact, they almost have as many shorthanded goals as they have power play goals. They score shorthanded, it seems like, almost every night.
Yeah, it's been amazing. They call it the power kill because they score so many goals off of it, Bill, as you know, and it's been really fun to watch, and they're very aggressive on the penalty kill, and they look very discombobulated on the power play. And do they try to make a trade and get somebody that's going to help out, or maybe just with time, somebody like a Tyson Forster will turn into a force on the power play. Owen Tippett certainly has a great shot. They have some good weapons, and it's just a little puzzling right now that they're so poor. Their entries have been poor, and as I said, they just look out of whack. And we'll see. But if they can make some strides and maybe get that percentage from 13% up to 16, 17%, it's going to be even more fun to watch this team. And as you mentioned, Bill, they have a tough test tomorrow. On Thursday, they play Toronto, a team that's very good on the power play. But all bets are off. I mean, on paper, it looks like Toronto is the better team, the much better team. The Flyers have more points than Toronto. I mean, go figure. I mean, as I said, John Tortorella deserves a lot of credit. There's no question about it, and he's got them playing hard. But you wonder the Carter Hart effect, how that's going to affect them too. I personally feel it's going to cripple them because Urson's played so well, but you just wonder not having a fallback like Carter Hart. Carter Hart, of course, was the number one guy. And you just wonder if they can do it with Cal Peterson as the fallback. Peterson's had a checkered past. He's played pretty well lately for the Flyers. And, these guys are answering the critics. I'll tell you, more power to them. And But again, they're still, to me, it would still be a very big surprise if they made the playoffs. But stranger things have happened.
Hey, Sam, Travis Konechny was an all-star. Owen Tippett played his way to a nice, long, new contract. Besides those two guys, anybody stand out in your mind with their play so far this season? Who has surprised you?
Sanheim was a take charge guy for a lot of the the first half of the season, and he's kind of tapered off a little bit, but he's been a pleasant surprise, I think, for most of the year. Morgan Frost has really come on lately. If you look at him driving play and some of the statistics, other than goals for and assists for, he's been really driving play, so he's been a pleasant surprise, and. I think Sam Urson, you could make a case that Sam Urson has been their MVP. This kid's a rookie. He's got a 2.49 goals against average, and the way he's conducted himself, he had a rough time the last 4 games before the All-Star break, and by that time we knew that Carter Hart was going to be out for a long time, and I thought right then that was maybe an indication that he was rattled a little bit, and the spotlight may be too much, but he's played great. They've won 4 in a row. He's played great since the All-Star break ended. Maybe he just needed a breather, but he's been a big surprise. I mean, he's played like a veteran, and people forget this. He's still a rookie, and but they've gotten some contributions from guys like Zamula, quiet contributions. I think Drysdale's been a good addition for them on defense. I like the way. He looks like a guy that's really going to help the power play. We talked about how bad the power play is, but Drysdale, especially last game, if you look at some of his moves, keeping the puck in and setting up things, they were 0 for 8 on the power play, but, they were robbed a few times. So it's a little misleading. So Drysdale, to me, looks like he could be a guy that's going to drive this power play or quarterback it. And Cam York has been up and down on the power play, but these guys are young. You expect that, and but all in all, it's been a team effort. Couturier's done a good job. Atkinson's been a disappointment, but Forster has come on lately before his injury. I think he's been a pleasant surprise. He looks like he's coming into his own. Could be a guy who scores 15, 16 goals as a rookie. And, a quality rookie year for him. And I think he'll grow. I think he'll be a regular 25-goal scorer down the road. So, a lot of positives to look at, especially with the young guys.
Sam, you mentioned Morgan Frost. He's a guy that's really interesting to me. When they drafted him, he was a prolific scorer. He struggled a bit along the way. You don't know if he's in John Tortorella's doghouse half the time. He's been scratched a lot. Or does Tortorella see something in the kid that the kid's not giving him? And right now, as you said, he's probably playing the best hockey of his career. Is he a guy that you maybe they just need to have patience with? He's going to only get better? Or is he a guy that you try to move to get something for, and then he turns out being a star in his league?
Yeah, I wrote this for Philly Hockey Now, I guess maybe 2 weeks ago, that I would be very careful. I mean, if you're overwhelmed in a trade, of course, then you do it. But if you're not overwhelmed, I'd keep Morgan Frost. I mean, we've seen it with Justin Williams and several other, Patrick Sharp. I mean, and several other guys they gave up on too soon. Some of that was Ken Hitchcock's impatience. He liked veterans. And, I think Tortorella had that reputation that he's a veteran coach, but he's done fine with the young guys. They've developed under him. So I don't think, even though he and Morgan Frost have not seen eye to eye all the time, I think he's kind of grown on Torts. And Torts admitted that, when he benched Morgan Frost, he admitted that he was surprised Morgan Frost came into his office and said, hey, I want to know what's going on. I feel like I'm doing a good enough job and I should be out there and on and on. I don't know exactly what he said, but that was the gist of it. And since then, Morgan Frost has come into his own. So good on him for, sticking up for himself. And Torts has said that, he liked that. I think he wanted that to happen. And maybe the benching, lit a fuse. And since then, Morgan Frost has producing very well at his highest clip of the season. So to answer your question, Bill, I would, unless I'm overwhelmed, I think Morgan Frost is the kind of guy you build your team around. I don't think he's a top line center, maybe not even a second line center, but can be a very, very good third line center, and homegrown. And I really like Frost. I like his game. He gives the Flyers creativity, and they didn't have a lot of that on the team. And and they now have some creative players. They have more speed this year than we've seen in a long time.
Yeah.
Tippett certainly gives them a lot of speed. Drysdale has given them speed. Morgan Frost can turn it on. So, Konechny has speed. This is a team that has created more chances off the rush than any team in the NHL this year. And, that speaks volume of where this team, was last year and where they are now. They haven't scored all the time off the rush, but they're getting more scoring opportunities off the rush. And that's what makes them a real exciting team and a successful team as well.
Sam, we could talk a lot more about the current Flyers, but we got to get to two other topics before we let you go. One of them, you told us last year, the last time you were on with us, about this new series that you're working on, a potential TV series called Bullies. What is the status of that? Where do things stand?
Yeah, I appreciate you mentioning it. We're having a great time doing it. Jeff Hare, who is originally from Roxbury, he's been a movie maker, and he's situated in LA now, but he's a Philly guy at heart, and we're the creators of this series. We have our book is done. We have a book that is going to come out in 2025 on the Bullies, and where they are now compared to when they won the cup, and reflections that nobody's really heard about. We have 1,000 pages of transcripts and from talking to all the players and people connected with the team. We've had a ball doing it, and they're just great, down to earth people. I can't say enough about them. And we have 2 episodes written, and we're doing a sizzle, which is basically a trailer, fancy way of saying a trailer for the series, which is going to be a 2-year series, 8 episodes per year. And once the sizzle is done, Susan Ryan, I don't know if you remember Ron Ryan. Ron Ryan was the Flyers president in the early 2000s. Susan Ryan is his daughter, and she's an accomplished actress, and she works behind the scenes now, and she's very excited. She's part of our team now, and once we get the sizzle done, she and some others will take the 2 episodes we have written. When I say episodes, they're just the written episodes. They're not filmed or anything. Mm-hmm. And she'll take that and the sizzle to Netflix and HBO and the other networks, and we're still writing other episodes in it. But it's not a documentary. You guys probably remember the great documentary HBO did probably about 12 years ago, or maybe even longer, on the Broad Street Bullies, and that was strictly a documentary. Ours is a TV drama. And we've learned so much that hasn't been made public. We've learned so much behind the scenes stuff. And we want people who watch this series to like it, even if they're not hockey fans. They're going to be intrigued by the relationships the players have off the ice, and their family lives and the ups and downs. And it's some powerful stuff, too. I don't want to give anything away, but some really powerful stuff that some of those guys had to overcome to get to where they were in 74 and 75. Our story takes place from 67, their inception, and it ends in 76 when they lost to Montreal and their dynasty ended. Their 2-year run as Stanley Cup champions ended. But if you remember, the people did not want to leave the Spectrum because they stood up and applauded. And it was like a thank you for this 3-year run of excellence. And they didn't want to leave. And so people say, why didn't you just end the series in 75 when they beat Buffalo, won the cup? But 76, it teaches us a lot of lessons. Flyers had a lot of injuries that maybe if their players were healthy, they might have won in 76. Big guys like Bernie Perrant, Rick McLeish, Gary Dornhofer were missing. But 76, we want to include 76 because it was a special year because they beat the Russians in a game that was amazing for a lot of different reasons. The Cold War was going on. It was the height of the Cold War, and Philly wasn't just playing for Philly. It was playing for the entire NHL. And all of a sudden, the NHL, which despised the Flyers, despised the way they played, all of a sudden, they were on the Flyers side. You're playing for all of North America. And I won't give too much away, but I will say some of the Flyers actually told Clarence Campbell to leave the locker room. He was the NHL president at the time. And before that game, he wanted to make a speech, and they told him to leave the room. One player said, "You're a hypocrite. Get out of here." That kind
That's
of thing.
Great.
Nice.
Yeah. So it's just really a fascinating story. It's a fascinating run. Up until Vegas won, the Flyers, it took them only 7 years. That was the fastest time a team had won a cup since their inception. Vegas won it in 6 years last year. So just quite an accomplishment. If you remember, Philadelphia at that time was the city of losers. The Sixers were coming off a nine-win season, 9-73.
Yeah.
The Eagles were in last place again. The Phillies were in last place again. They were the city of losers, and the Flyers just lifted the city on their backs. And we had 2 million people at the 74 parade, 2.3 million. The 75 parade, I'm sorry. So, it's just amazing. And their first parade drew 20 people when they were introduced in 67.
Right.
Philadelphia didn't know how. And that's part of our story, too. I guess the bottom line is one of the main things we want to get across is the love of story, the love affair between the Philadelphia fans and the Philadelphia Flyers, and all the obstacles the Flyers had to overcome to get to where they were. So we're really excited about it, and I appreciate you mentioning it.
Can't wait to see it.
Last thing from me, and then Bill can do a follow-up if he wants. We got to mention this. You're involved heavily with this event. It's a celebrity bartending event. Tell us all about it and what it's for.
Yeah, February 27th, I'll be at the at the restaurant. Excuse me, I lost my voice there. The Osteria 545, tremendous Italian restaurant. If you like Italian food, please come out. There it is on the screen. And it's the best Italian food in South Jersey. And proceeds are going to help the Adam Talaferro Foundation. I'm on the board of directors of the Adam Talaferro Foundation. We've raised over $2 million for athletes who have suffered spinal injuries. For those who don't know, Adam Talaferro was a great football player at Eastern High School in South Jersey. And he was going to be a star. I think he would have been playing in the NFL. There's no question in my mind. He went to Penn State and was injured making a tackle, and his career ended. But he's very successful. He was paralyzed, fought his way back, and 3 months later, he was told by doctors he would never walk again. In fact, 3 different doctors at 3 different hospitals told him that. And 3 months later, he walked out of McGee Hospital. He still walks with a pronounced limp, and he has some problems with his hand. He can't really open all the way because of nerve damage, but he's, became a lawyer. It's such an unbelievable story. Became a lawyer and now works for a drug company, married, has 2 gorgeous kids. And his legacy, he's touching more people now than he probably would have if he made it to the NFL. His legacy is the Adam Talaferro Foundation. And it's a great cause. So, come out and support it. It's 6 to 8, and I'll be specializing in some limoncello mojitos if you like them. And like I said, it's a great cause and a great Italian restaurant.
And of all those things you said about Adam, he's a better person than all those things.
Yeah, no
Top-notch.
question about it. He is the best. He just so sincere and kind-hearted and does so much for people. And the foundation, we put elevators and houses for people who are in wheelchairs, and we've gotten vans that are wheelchair accessible for them, and we've done a lot of good things. And this night will help us raise some money for just a wonderful cause. I have to throw out Tom Lycavone's name. He's the president of the Adam Talaferro Foundation, former high school coach in New Jersey, he just does a remarkable job.
Hey, Sam, before we let you go, where can the viewers find your work, your social media platforms, the things you have going on, and follow what you're doing?
Yeah, thank you, Bill. Yeah, you can reach me at Broad Street Bull, and we're going to put out a pretty big campaign, social media campaign for Bullies. That's probably going to start next week. So,
wow.
Next time I'm on, or you can even look for it on my Broad Street Bull Twitter. But we're going to have a lot of information on that, and I appreciate you mentioning it. And you can reach me also if you have any questions. Sam Carchidi 55 and at gmail.com, and be happy to answer any questions. But we're really going to promote this endeavor, this Bullies TV series. So we're excited about that. That should be up sometime next week.